Saludos Puerto Rico, Latinoamérica, Estados Unidos y cualquier otra parte del mundo donde nos estén viendo. Manolo Sánchez de PulseoTV, la cara del pulseo en Puerto Rico, aquí para traerles nuevamente la sección del podcast Probando Fuerza. Estuvimos fuera del aire un tiempo y haciendo cosas bien cortas, pues debido al paso del huracán Fiona y que por lo menos en mi caso la pasamos muy mal, ya que no teníamos servicio de agua ni de luz como en todo Puerto Rico, pero mi casa se inundó y perdí la gran mayoría de mis pertenencias. Pero estamos vivos, tenemos salud, mis hijos están bien y vamos para adelante. En esta ocasión tuvimos un pequeño podcast con un gran amigo, el gran Dave Chaffee, que por fin pudimos coincidir y poder tener una conversación de lo más amena e íntima y bastante emocional sobre su carrera y sus últimos compromisos y los compromisos futuros que tiene y la opinión sobre unas cositas que yo le quería traer a colación y saber su opinión. Espero la disfruten, se hace con mucho afecto para toda la fanaticada del Pulseo. A continuación, disfruten de ella, no olviden de darle like al canal, suscribirse, compartir este video, espero la disfruten, ahí va.
Well, this is I like to thank you very much because I've asked you I think once before to be with us sharing this podcast with the Latin American and Puerto Rican community of arm wrestling. And you're one of my favorites. I believe we both started in the sport at the same time. I think I've been in some of the competitions that you have been on, but on different classes. I believe I think I was when you had your arm injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was 2000. The arm break was 2007.
Yeah, something like that. I remember. Yeah. I was at that event.
That's crazy.
I was in that event, and I've always been following you for years, and always been a big fan. Because I to my opinion, I when I arm wrestle, I don't arm wrestle competitively anymore. But when I do practice, or when I did arm wrestle, my style is it's pretty close to yours, like side pressure guy, and I don't know if I'm in trying to mimic your moves, because I admire you so much, but I've always been following you because I think we pull a lot alike.
That's pretty cool to hear stuff like that, when people, respect you and follow you and mimic your moves. It's, it makes what you do pretty worthwhile. It's pretty awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and I do believe you're one of the strongest guys in the world of arm wrestling. And that to me, it makes me feel like everybody should respect that, because you can be good and you can be like the best being good, but to be the strongest is something different. Like, you don't have to be the best to be the strongest,
Yeah, no doubt. It's a different kind of thing. Definitely.
And right now in the world, I think the two strongest arm wrestlers are Levon and yourself.
I would probably, I'm not going to agree or disagree, but I think you're on the right track. Yeah.
Well, that's my opinion. And Puerto Rico, we are a small arm wrestling community, and the even though arm wrestling has been in Puerto Rico since the late 80s, the sport is like in a kind of resurgence again in the island, due to what we've been doing here in PulseoTV, which Pulseo means arm wrestling in Espanol, in Spanish, and the way that we call it in Puerto Rico is Pulseo. That's why the channel is called PulseoTV.
Gotcha.
So right now we've been through the disaster that's been the Hurricane Fiona. We've been like for weeks without power, water, and it's been pretty harsh here in Puerto Rico. And this is the first podcast back from PulseoTV since the hurricane, and thank God is with my, I would like to call you my friend, because we've been talking through social media back and forward for years, Dave Chaffee, And Dave, I wanted to, if you can speak to us and tell you the story on how you got into the sport.
Sure. I started back in 2006. I seen a flyer at the gym that I was working out at the time. I figured I'd enter the competition. I was, one of them guys that was decent as a kid growing up. I could beat all my friends arm wrestling and stuff like that. So another friend of mine knew somebody who actually, did arm wrestling competition. So he pointed me in his direction. I trained with him a couple times. And we went to that tournament back in 2006. I ended up winning the tournament. I lost a match, came back from the B side and won a couple in the finals to win the tournament, which was pretty cool. Winning my first tournament was pretty awesome. And then unfortunately, 3 months later, I break my arm, and it was a little bit of a setback. But I took a year off with my right, started training my left. Here I am today. Work my way to where I am.
But when you started in the sport, you started competing at the professional level, right? Not amateur.
Yeah, it was amateur at first, amateur, and then when I came back, I broke my arm actually in the amateurs division, Doug Allen. And then when I came back, I did a couple of amateurs, and then pretty much that was pretty much it. Worked my way into the pros slowly but surely. So it wasn't too long before I was doing pro stuff.
Okay, so how many years have you been in the sport right now?
It'll be 16 years. I started in 06, so about 16 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're a big guy, and those sorts of injuries make you like overdue trying to rehab that injury. And right now, like I said before, your right arm is almost unmatched strength wise, and maybe I've always said that those type of injuries, like when you recover, and if it's a bone break and you recover good, the arm ends up being stronger.
I mean, I agree with you. Like when I broke my arm, I could see where it was healing. The bone grows over bigger. And there's I didn't have surgery. I had to wear a brace for like 8 weeks, and I started working out, with light weights, work my way back. But I agree with you. I think it came back stronger 100%. I think when you break your bone, a lot of guys, if you don't have a surgery, you can come back actually stronger than you were before.
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually known a couple of guys in Puerto Rico that have broken their arms, and they like stop arm wrestling. Like they don't do it anymore. And mostly it's because they end up having some sort of hardware in the bone, and they don't want to have the surgery to take it out. So and they call it and don't arm wrestle anymore. Now, I knew just recently this guy from I think he's Ukrainian and lives in Dubai, Vasil. He broke his arm like 9 months ago, and he's already arm wrestling. Like arm wrestling hard, and it's amazing. I'm trying to do a podcast with him too, because it's an amazing story. Like 9 months back, he broke his arm like a spiral, and he's arm wrestling already. So it's amazing, and maybe it's just that medicine has become better, at fixing those types of injuries.
Yeah, it could be medicine, genetics, maybe special guy, different bone structure. You never know what it could be. I know people that have come back, tried to come back early, after like 5-6 months, and they re-break their arm. I've seen it happen. So you got to be careful with that stuff.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I've been a big fan of yours since I met you, and since I've seen you arm wrestling for different reasons, and I've seen your career take off, and like I said, you've always been the stronger guy, and at some point you could make an argument like you were #1 in the world, because I remember I had a conversation with you when you beat Dennis at Nemiroff. I said that you were going to be the #1 guy, and I remember you answered me saying, I'll be the #1 guy when I beat the #1 guy. But at that point, I did think like you were stronger than Dennis, because you beat him. Like I saw you pull him at Nemiroff, and I saw you pull him at A1. And I don't know, from the videos I saw, and then again, I'm just watching videos, I saw pins going, and nobody called them. So that's what I said, that Dave Chaffee at that point in time was the #1 arm wrestling in the world, because at the end of the day, you don't have to be like, to know something like deep inside, like strength wise or ability wise. Like you go to whatever tournament in whatever nation, and the home team is always going to have an advantage. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
So I saw some pins that weren't called, and I remember I always said Dave Chaffee at that moment was the #1 guy in the world, and I got a lot of shit. You know, people shedding on me like a lot. You know, and I'm mentioning this because this has got to do with the next topic. Like, I'm gonna retake it from the Kurdecha, the Gennady rematch, and the match with Morozov. And I remember when you pull Kurdecha, everybody calling you out. Like, I mean, everybody. And if some guys are watching this, you know, you said Kurdecha was gonna beat Dave, and I came up with the phrase, "In Dave we trust."
Yeah, I remember that.
I know you have seen it.
I have.
and you know, and when the match came, you beat Kurdecha easily, like fairly easily. And I say that because I'm an arm wrestler, and even if you see some struggle, you know when things are going exactly to the way the guy that is winning, you know. And I know people counting you out. I don't know why. I never did, and I will always back you. Like I said, I consider you my friend for all these years we've been talking. And I always back up my friends. But how do you felt when people counted you out of those matches? Like they said you couldn't beat Kurdecha. Then I think the Gennady rematch was after Kurdecha or before.
It was after. It was like a month after. Right. Yeah.
Like everybody counting you out from Kurdecha. Then you got the Gennady rematch, which, come on, people. Like, they won. Come on, they won. He like those 2 first rounds. Come on. So, and then you have the Morozov match. People counting you out. How did that make you feel when you saw the people, the fans were like counting you out, like you were done?
You know, you try not to let it bother you, but you try to use it as motivation. Basically, you fire it up, you know, because I'm not ready to be done. I'm not ready to be counted out. There's still a lot of fire left in me. So I mean, you know, it's hard to tell how much longer I'm going to pull, depending on how my neck goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely good to get the wins and then show them I still have what it takes.
Yeah, and I saw the Kurdecha match went your way. You won decisively. The Gennady match, you won those 2 first rounds, and then you lost the next 3. And the same happened with Morozov. What were you feeling that, like, because I know you, as an arm wrestler, I know when you, like, your hand gets bloated, your arm gets bloated, and you like can't do much in the table. What happened? How did you feel? What did you feel that you couldn't, like, finish the matches?
That's pretty much what happened. My hand got blown up, basically, and my arm. The Gennady match, I won the first 2 pretty quick, and then the third match I had him, and he slipped pretty low in a losing position. And then he kind of caught me after that, and he won that one. And I just gassed out. No excuse. I just tired out. 2-0. I blew it. And then in a Morozov match, the first match, quick top roll, I pinned him. And in the second match, he caught me in a hook. I was kind of out of position, but we battled for quite a while and I pinned him, but I got really tired after that match. And then the same thing, you can't do what you want to do after your hands blown up and your arms blown up. And unfortunately, he ended up winning the next 3-2.
I wanted to ask you, did you had an energy drink or something that may have attributed to your hand being pumped up like that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, my hand will get pumped up, you know, usually anyways, but it was just seemed like a lot more. I didn't really do anything different than I usually do. Like when I go to Turkey, maybe I only get a couple of days, you know, to recover and get rest, because I usually leave on a Wednesday, get there Thursday, the competition Saturday. Whereas, like, you know, with my Kurdecha match and a Vitali match, you get there Monday, Tuesday, you don't compete till Saturday, so you got 4 or 5 days. I mean, maybe that has something to do with it. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. I really
actually, I do think it has a lot to do with it, because when you taper down to be ready for a tournament or for a match, you need your rest. Even if you're not practicing or lifting, you need your rest. And if you don't sleep well, or you know, when you have to travel all that way, you know, playing, you know, it takes a lot from us. You know, you get dehydrated and you get tired, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it could have something to do with it, but I don't want to take anything away from those guys. They beat me 3-2. I mean, they
yeah,
deserve the win. So I mean, I give them all the credit in the world. So
yeah, they're strong guys too.
oh,
But
absolutely,
like
very
I
strong.
say, like I said, your strength towers above them, because I don't like the super match thing. I don't like super matches. But since the sport is going into that direction to be more popular and to get more attention and more fans, I always say that the first match is the one that counts. Like
Yes.
if you got 6 or 7 rounds, if you win the first, that's the winner. I don't care if he loses the next 6 rounds. If you win the first, that's the winner, because that's fresh versus fresh. You don't
I
have
mean,
time to adjust, you know?
yeah, the way things go for me in those matches, I'm going to have to agree with you because I always win the first match, first two usually. So I like your opinion there.
Yeah, yeah. Like you get paid to get the job done. You said arm wrestling is not a marathon, and it's turning into a marathon, you know?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, these super matches, there's a lot of rounds and all that. Even in Puerto Rico, we're trying to revive the sport. We're like turning into that same way
Mhm.
of the super match way, you know. Now, I don't want to ask to any invasive questions, but about training, about how you get that strong. Do you think it's the way you train, or do you think it's something natural that you're a big strong guy naturally, and no matter what you do, you're always going to be strong? Like you could be off a year and they come and still kill everybody at the table.
I think it has due to a couple of different things. When I was growing up, my parents owned a nursery and a garden center, so I was planting trees, lifting big trees, doing just hard labor, like stuff like that. A lot of handwork. You're just digging in dirt, hard clay, and stuff like that. I think maybe that had the start of it. I have good genetics. I have big hands, long arms for arm wrestling. That helps. But my training. I mean, I've trained. I like to say I train as hard or harder than anybody. I was always in the gym 5-6 days a week. I would, when I first started, I would never ever miss a workout, doing whatever I had to do to make gains. So I think that it has a mixture of, genetics, what I did growing up, working wise, and my workout.
Okay, so you still train the whole body, or you just concentrate on arm wrestling right now?
It's all arm wrestling. Ever after I broke my arm in 2007, I changed my entire work. I was always a guy that liked to go to the gym, bench press, all that stuff. After 2007, that's the last time I ever bench pressed. I geared everything towards arm wrestling. Catered my workouts to different parts of my arm, hand. Every day I do something different. So it's all related to arm wrestling now, and it has been ever since. I've evolved. I've added different things, got rid of different things since I started, but it's all geared towards arm wrestling.
But you do still like use pulley systems and stuff like that on your workouts, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah, a couple times a week, definitely. Especially
Okay.
for like on the table stuff, and then when I'm working my back too, I also use I do one arm rows and one arm pull down. So I usually double up a cable, double up at like a handle, so just get a bigger grip or something like that too.
Okay. So how many times a week or a month do you practice on the table with other guys?
Once a week. Every Wednesday, our team gets together, and that's plenty for me because I've got elbow issues and other injuries that usually takes me at least that much time to feel better after a hard practice.
Yeah, I'm smiling because I remember in one of those old conversations, I talked to you about doing the press move, and you told me you didn't like it because it bugged your elbow.
Yeah, it definitely
But
does, and I still feel it from the match right in the last match. My elbow's hurting very bad right now.
but here we are.
Yeah, it's feeling a little better, but after that match, it was so blown up. It hurt so bad. It's getting better. We're supposed to practice today. We're going to hang out, but I'm not going to do anything. And it's still been, probably 10 days after.
Well, it was a hard match,
Oh, yeah, it was
regardless
brutal.
the press move, it was a match. Yeah,
Yeah,
that looked like a fight.
it was brutal. Yeah.
Now, what did you change, if anything, on training and practice for the Vitali match?
I didn't change a lot. A couple of things I tried to tweak a little bit. Work on more, just to work on the more endurance with my hand. You know, just work when you work in the straps. Just make sure it's blown up with my teammates. Time stuff. A lot of static holds, basically. But I just tweaked a few things. Nothing huge, really.
See, that's my point. This guy is at least on the top 3 of the strongest arm wrestlers in the world. I don't care whatever you say. It's like I'm asking, I'm going in this line to I know Dave is a really humble guy. That's why everybody loves him. But in my opinion, like, Dave is at least top 3 of the strongest, if not the strongest. Because when you, like, I'm gonna say it, I don't know what people are gonna say. Maybe people are gonna insult me or something. But I do think, and I believe, that if Dave would have gotten the strap with Levon, things would have been a lot different. I'm not saying Dave was going to win. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying things were going to be different, because arm to arm, I believe that Dave Chaffee's arm is one of the strongest, at least top 3, top 2. And for all the strengths Levon has, Levon is a top roller. Like, I see him pull, and he's a top roller. If you can get him in the strap and use your arm power and side pressure, you know, things are gonna be, you know, different. And at least that's my opinion, and that's what I believe.
I'm not gonna say things would have been a different result, but I definitely would have liked to have the chance to get him in the straps. That was my game plan, to try to get in the straps and contain. His hand was so strong, it was really hard to do anything with it without the straps. But I definitely would have loved the shot to, you know, to pull him in the straps for sure.
Yeah, that format, the rules are like they don't let you arm wrestle. Like that match, the matches, I think, did he get a pin? I don't even remember, because everything was a foul. Everything was a foul. You breathed foul. You looked at foul. Everything was a foul. You know?
Yeah, he got a pin later on, and towards the later rounds he did. But in the beginning there was, you know, foul, and then I tried to slip, but they called foul, and then it was very frustrating, unfortunately. Yeah.
Frustrating for all of us, because even if Levon was so big, Dave Chaffee is another thing. Dave Chaffee is a force of nature. Now, the Vitali match. I know people, and I tag people about after the match, because I always back you up, and I always say Dave Chaffee is going to win in every match you're going to go. And I knew you were going to beat Vitali. I knew it. I just knew it. And like, again, people were counting you out and stuff like that. And when you won, I got so happy. Me and my son got so happy. I made a post, and I tagged some people behind the picture I used, because those people counting you out. And then people were saying I called it and all that, but they're liars. They're liars. I was right. They were wrong. Now, that match was epic. I haven't seen anything like it in arm wrestling. If you could compare anything about arm wrestling to a Rocky movie, that match is the only thing you can compare to a Rocky movie. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And how do you feel being part of that epic event and that pinnacle of arm wrestling history? Because you can talk a lot about the history of John Bersang, the history of Todd Hutchins, and they're great guys. Even Devin Ladd, they're great guys. They have accomplished great things. But the one thing people are going to be talking about for decades, even long after we're gone in arm wrestling, is this match. How does that make you feel?
It's pretty awesome, actually. You know, I knew it was a good match, but you don't think about that, you know, during the match. I just knew it was a war. I knew we both gave everything we had. Like, honestly, I thought I broke my hand during the match in match 3 when I tried to slip out and he wouldn't let go. My hand was starting to get swollen. There was blood everywhere. Both my hands were bleeding. After the match, he had to get oxygen. He had to be taken out in an ambulance. It was crazy. But I don't realize how great a match is. And then some people started texting me. They're like, have you checked out the internet? And like, everybody's saying this is like the best match ever, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no way. So I was like, wow, that's incredible. And then, more and more people were saying this is, it's the best match you've ever seen, the greatest match of all time. I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome to be involved in something like that. It's incredible, actually.
Did you dislocate your finger?
No, my hand, I did something to my hand. He's got such a strong, it still hurts. I didn't break anything, I don't think, but it's the swelling is starting to go down, but it was pretty bad for a little bit.
Because you were bleeding from a finger, and at some point it looked like it was dislocated.
Yeah, it was not, nothing was dislocated. I was bleeding from both hands really, but the hand, like when I tried to slip out, it was in the third match. And he got me in that horrible position where like he just had my hand back. I tried to slip out and hit the table. It was hurting pretty bad after that, but it's bad. It's coming around. It still hurts, but it'll be fine.
Yeah. Now, those two last rounds, because the entire match, like I said, always the first round is the one that counts. You won that easily. But when you got to those last two rounds, the sixth round and the silver bullet round, what was going through your head? How did you feel?
I was exhausted, and I'm sure everybody thought, here we go again. Dave's going to lose. He won the first two, and he's down 3. I didn't have a chance. And then I was like,
was that going through your head? Was that going through your head?
I was trying to feel him out. I was trying to look at him to see how tired he was. So I was looking at him, when I'm in my corner, he's looking right back at me. So I was just trying to feel him out, basically. And I'm thinking, I got to slip out. I got to get to the straps. I have to get there no matter what I got to do. So when I got to the straps in round 6, I don't know if you see, I came to the table. I was fired up. I had like a new beginning.
Yeah.
So I was ready after that. I was like, there's no way. I said, I got this. And then I went. Someone else was helping me with some stuff. So I went side, and in that 6th round, right off the bat, I'm like this. And I honestly, I have nothing left at all. I'm thinking I'm giving like 2% pressure, but I'm thinking he must have less than me because he can't do anything either. I'm thinking to myself, my 8-year-old son could probably beat me right now. So this is kind of funny. That's going through my head right now. But I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to wait this out, and then as soon as I get some energy, I'm going to come in and adjust and get him, and I did. And then the last round, he ended up same thing, went side. I was up, but he went to the King's move for a little bit. I went up this. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna hold for a little bit, and I'm just gonna come around, adjust, and press him, and I did, and then that was it.
Yeah, it was epic.
It was brutal. Epic. Yeah, it was like crazy. Like I said, with the blood on my hand and like him going out, like he kind of collapsed or whatever. We both gave everything we had. Like I had nothing left. He had nothing left. We left it all on the table. He's an incredible opponent. It was awesome to pull him. Absolutely. It was super fun.
Now, we're talking about your strength, your power, but not everybody, when it's at that point of fatigue that you guys were, have any skill left. And in that 7th round, you did your thing, you did your press, even shoulder rolls. So that shows the kind of technique you do possess, that if you need to reach for it, you can use it. Like I remember the Nick Cena match that you had in the hook, and Nick felt like, oh, I'm trying to get him, and the last round you top rolled him, and he went like, what the fuck happened? I remember that match right there, because you let everything out, your power, your technique. It was beautiful. It was an epic event. Everybody's going to be talking about this, I think, for their entire history of arm wrestling, of this match. I don't believe anybody is going to have a better match than this one.
It was awesome. Like I said, we both gave everything we had. And I had absolutely nothing left. We both left everything out, and just to come out on top was pretty awesome.
Did you get the chance to speak with Vitaly after the match?
He doesn't really. I messaged him afterwards, make sure he was okay. And then we both went to Larry Wheels the next day. He was fine. He's okay. We were actually wrestled arm. I let him. He kicked my ass left-handed arm wrestling, and we messed around a little bit. So he's okay.
Okay. Now, what's next for Dave Chaffee after this epic match happened?
Possibly East versus West, the next one in January. It's not set, so I can't say who it's against or anything like that, but see how my arm feels. I should be ready to go, but the match isn't set yet with the guy that, I could possibly pull. So I just got to wait and see. And after that, I don't know, just, whatever comes up, basically.
Let me ask you something. Has Jerry Calderette ever beat you?
No. I think I'm like 6 or 7-0 against Jerry in our match. We pulled in a few different places.
I'm not saying anything. I just asked a question and I got an answer.
Yeah, I don't know what I've been lucky against Jerry. He's strong dude, but for whatever reason, I've been able to come out on top, against him the few times.
People that do beat Jerry Calderette do it on like a very high level skill, like John or Devin, but they take time to win the round or the match. Now, if you beat Jerry like quickly, it's like you got just raw power, the kind of power that you have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I asked the question because I was thinking last night about that we're gonna have this conversation. And Jerry's calling out Levon, and there's Hermes Gasparini is in the conversation. Devin is still around, and I was like thinking, who has the winning records over who, And I do believe the last time Jerry faced Devin, he lost like really bad, and like the guys that are in the conversation that to me are left I'm talking about America. I'm North America.
Yeah.
The only guys in the conversation that could be in the near to get another match with Levon are just you and Devin, because like Jerry hasn't beat you. Jerry lost his last match to Devin, so the only two guys left are you and Devin for the West to challenge Levon. Do you agree?
Mathematically, that sounds right, but styles make matches.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Jerry wouldn't have a chance or.
No, I do think Jerry has a good chance against Levon if he gets the strap.
Yeah, he'd have to get to the strap, I think. But I agree with what you're saying with Jerry losing to both of us. But that was years ago, so things change. I mean, maybe we have to do it to see what happens. Who knows?
Yeah. Now, I think, and I want to get your opinion on this. I think that a rematch between Devin and Todd Hutchins is on the way. I believe that. Don't ask me why, but I believe that. I know that Devin is gonna compete in East versus West, and I saw a thing that England was doing with Devin and Todd. I do believe a rematch it's coming between those two guys. How do you after the history you know about their matches? How do you what's your opinion on the outcome or how that match would go?
Well, it probably depends on what weight Devin's going to come in. If he comes in, huge, I think he would have the advantage. But Todd's side pressure, we've seen the first time they pulled Devin. Honestly, he should have lost that first match. I think Todd had him basically. He had the Kings move Todd. I mean, and Todd, if it was a straight up match, who knows?
No. I mean, I respect Devin and everything he has done in the sport. I like him. I love Devin. I'm a fan. But I do think that match with Todd, I don't know what happened, but the first round was a clear pin. Everybody saw in the world, and people have talked about that. And I do agree with you with the thing that I think that first match, Todd should have come out on top based on what we saw. But anyway, that's just an opinion because we weren't there. But I do think if to share my opinion with you, if Devin is gonna drop to 235, like he said after the match with Levon that he was doing, and he looks to be on that way, and Todd stays in the 220, 230 thing on weight, shit's gonna happen,
It could be a hell
Todd
of a
is on
match.
a mission.
Sure. Definitely. I've pulled Todd. He's strong as hell. And I pulled Devin too.
Yeah.
So I think at that weight, if they're close, it'll be one hell of a match.
Yeah, and like Todd always says that with the elite level guys, you got to pull them more than once to be able to figure them out.
Yeah.
And I believe that match is going to be really interesting. And I asked you about this match because I know you're friends with Todd and you practice with him, and you had some matches with Devin, and at some point, that the side pressure style, the King's move, all that like I respect everybody. I respect everybody in the sport. I'm a big fan of I have my favorites, but I'm a fan of Michael Todd, of Devin, and all that. But those matches, like the match that you had with Devin, and the match that Devin had with Michael Todd, I believe those matches should be erased from history because they were so ugly. Like, dude, come on, straight arms, people on top of tables. It was so bad that it hurted the sport. To me, it hurted the sport.
Yeah, I don't ever want to talk about my match with Devin. That's the ugliest, most hideous thing in the history of my
yeah.
So
And
forget about
like,
that one.
Yeah. It's like to me the I don't like the King's move. I don't like it. I don't have anything good about to say the King's move, that, and I don't want to go into it because people may see this and hate me more. But anyway, so I'm looking forward on your next match, see how it goes. I'm praying that you keep getting stronger and that you get another crack at Levon Sakinashvili just to see how it would go, because I know that strap would make a lot of difference, and you're the strongest guy. I do believe you're the strongest guy because you don't have to lift, you don't have to do the same lifts the other guy is doing to know who's stronger or not. You're strong on what you do, he's strong on what he does, and when you go to the table, the things on the table is where you see who's strong and strong,
Exactly.
And the strap tells no lies. So I would like to
love that,
and I would like to mention that you and I, our sons were born, I think, like days apart.
Really?
In February 2014, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
My son was born in the 10th, and yours?
The 14th, Valentine's Day.
On the 14th, like 4 days apart.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And my son has grown up me watching you arm wrestle, and he's a fan too.
That's awesome.
And when you won, we were both like jumping and smiling and screaming. So my son is a big fan of yours, and I know the kind of father that you are, and I know that I could suck at everything in the world, but I know I'm good at being a dad, and I think we have that in common.
That's what matters most, right there.
Yeah, that's what matters most, and I think we have that in common because I know the kind of father you are, and I know the kind of father that I am, and that's why I feel like a close relationship between us, even if we just messaging in social media, and thank you for letting me calling you my friend, and thank you for always being available for answering or talking or speaking of whatever. It makes us the people that the 98%. It makes us feel like not everybody gives attention to their fans the way that you do, and some of other like you, Todd, the attention you give your fans makes a difference on your image and tells a lot of the kind of people that you are. You're good guys, and I always like to see good guys win and plow everybody that's going and saying, oh, they're washed up, oh no, they're gonna lose. I love seeing you guys win like the way you do and being strong as you are.
Your support. That's 100% appreciate your support. Definitely call your friend, man. That's awesome.
I'm hoping I can make a trip to the States at some point, and I would like to visit you if you're available, and Todd Hutchins if he's available. I know Todd told me that let him know if I'm going. He will be available, but if I make the trip, I'm gonna let you know, and maybe we can hang out, practice or something, because even though I'm not competing, I'm still training, and sometimes I practice. And you know, I love the sport. You know, I've been doing it a lot of time. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me know if you ever come up here. I would love to hang out. We'll pull, you know, train, practice.
And
Definitely.
if you go into on vacation, or you're gonna go on vacation with your wife and your son and everything, consider Puerto Rico and let me know. I'll hook you up.
I've never been there, but we like to travel, so I'd love to see it sometime.
Well, I'd like to thank you for your time to share this conversation with me and with Puerto Rico. I would like, if you had a message to the Puerto Rican fans, I would, if you want to say something to them.
Yeah, just want to thank you guys for all your support. I 100% appreciate everything. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for your time. You're gonna keep getting stronger. I will always be praying for you, your son, and your family, and for you to be back on that #1 spot before you call it a day on arm wrestling.
Well, I'm gonna do what I can to get there. I'll definitely give it my all. Thank you.
God bless you, Dave, and thank you for your time. We'll be talking soon.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Bye.